I'm going to be taking you through how to use LinkedIn to consistently generate high value leads, calls, strategy sessions, and booked appointments in your calendar on autopilot. How's it going? My name is Ryan Caswell, and today I'm going to be going through why anyone who serves other businesses as part of their offering needs to be using LinkedIn. I'm going to be going over the biggest mistakes I currently see professionals making on LinkedIn, and then I'm going to be going through our crucial 4-step process, what we call the 4 Ps, to finding and generating quality leads and sales on LinkedIn. So before you go any further, I just want to make sure you are in the right place. So you are either a consultant, coach, an advisor, a writer, you run an agency, you provide software as a service. The main thing here is that you serve other businesses. We're not talking about people who go directly to the consumer, we're talking about B2B. And you're looking for a proven process to consistently fill your calendar with booked appointments and red hot leads. And you want to delegate and automate as much as possible so you're free to focus on the things that you want to do. And of course, you love good quality, red hot B2B leads in your hands each and every week. Because you know that when it comes to running a business, when you have a product or service, it's so important that you have a consistent flow of new leads coming in. Because the reality is, it doesn't matter how good your product or service is. If you've got nothing coming in the top, then there's nothing coming in the bottom. And if you're not always working on generating new leads for your business, then it's just going to be impossible to grow. Because let's face it, without a source of new leads and new business coming in every week, every month, you don't have a business. You just have a service. So why LinkedIn specifically? There's no shortage of other platforms out there that promise to generate leads and be the be all and end all. And whilst, yeah, it's true, a lot of these platforms are very powerful, what I found is LinkedIn, for so many reasons, is just such a great place to start for B2B professionals. And you only need to do a quick search on Google to find why it's such an amazing platform for B2B professionals to find leads. But in my experience, the answer is actually far more foundational than that. And the problem lays with how small businesses often think. So they look at the big players and they say, well, that business is doing LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. It's doing a bit of everything. But the truth is, it's a little bit like if you were to compare it to saying, all right, well, I've seen a professional basketball player and they're making good money. I've seen a professional soccer player, they're making good money, professional tennis, all these professional sports players making good money. And it's like you were to say, all right, well, I'm going to do a little bit of basketball, a little bit of soccer, a little bit of tennis, and I'll make, a little bit of money doing each of these things. But the truth is, unless you're good enough to go pro with any of these things, what happens is you just become an amateur and you dabble and you spend your time doing it, but you don't actually generate any money. So the secret is you really need to find what are you most likely to go pro in and start generating money. So then you can start pouring that money towards having other people set up systems for you in other avenues and so on. And so why do I say go pro with LinkedIn first? So if you're B2B and you're a small business, there's so many reasons that you should be using LinkedIn. Now you can get started for free. You can seriously start generating, really super high quality leads without putting in any money. You can contact absolutely anyone on the platform. You can create a standalone system that doesn't require, expensive funnels or websites or anything else. It's just a really simple system that can let you find and start conversations with anyone. It's automatable, it's delegatable, it's scalable, it's easy to learn and get results fast, and you can choose when and where you do it from. So it's a very, very powerful platform and provides you with huge flexibility. So just a bit of the traveling I've been doing over the last few years, and as a result of being able to find my clients just working from my computer at a time that suits me. So what is the biggest mistake professionals are currently making on LinkedIn? And the biggest mistake that I see people making on the platform, and I constantly hear it every time I meet new people, it's this concept or this idea that likes and impressions equals money. The problem is everyone's out to try and get attention. They feel that they need to be posting content and spending all this time creating new content every week. But the truth is, especially in the beginning, if you're creating content and you haven't focused on even generating an audience or building that audience, it's a little bit like putting a billboard out in the middle of the desert. It doesn't even matter how good it is. It's just not going to have any cut through because no one's going to see it. So what do we do that's so different? Well, the thing is that the reason that LinkedIn is so powerful is that you can really just start conversations and start building interest around, the problem that you solve and the value that you provide as a service without having to spend all this time generating content, which has a very weak cut through and is most likely ignored as people just skim through their inboxes. The way we do it is with our proven, what we call the 4Ps, a proven 4-step process to finding and generating leads on the platform. And this process consists of profile and positioning, optimizing your profile in a way that makes sure it resonates with the right people and gets them interested in what you do. Then, of course, finding the right people, knowing exactly who you want to target, and then building quality lists of those exact people so that you can start prospecting, reaching out, starting quality conversations, and then building a process around all of this so that it can be done in the background while you sleep. And this is the same process we're using to generate 20 plus leads in our calendar every month. Honestly, this is the same thing we use to generate some weeks. It goes up to 20 plus leads in a week. But the thing is, it really just comes down to how much you want to grow and what kind of capacity you can handle as a business. Because the way it's set up is that you set up a system that can then be multiplied, duplicated, and scaled up from there. So like I said, it all starts with your profile. And a lot of people think that your profile on LinkedIn is about showing the world what a beautiful and unique snowflake you are. But it really is important to focus on the one thing your client cares about. And that is themselves. It's not about you. It's not about how smart you are. It's not about how qualified you are. All your client really cares about is, can you solve their problem? How can you help them? So Dale Carnegie says it best in How to Win Friends and Influence People. People are not interested in you. They're interested in themselves morning, noon, and after dinner. So it's understanding this that helps us put together a profile that resonates with your target market and gets them interested and wanting to potentially work with you, but even just start a conversation, start a dialogue. Now, I could do another presentation entirely on writing a profile, but we haven't got time for that today. So I suggest checking out my blog where I have a lot of articles about how to write the perfect profile and how to position yourself. The most important thing is to just focus on what we call the 80-20 rule. So getting 80% of the results from 20% of the efforts. So there's just 3 key things you really need to update, and that's your headline, your background image, and your about section. And that's where 80% of the results really come from. So once your profile is completely optimized, the next thing you need to do is find the right people. And this is the most important part. I'm going to say this probably about every step. They're all actually critical, but finding people it's what makes LinkedIn the most powerful platform for B2B lead gen. It's because LinkedIn provides you the most elegant and amazing way to completely filter down on exactly who you want to target and exactly the right industry, the right title, the right position, the right, everything. It gives you all the information on a silver platter and lets you basically connect with those people and start a direct conversation with, CEOs through to, one-man bands. It's a super powerful platform. Even on the free LinkedIn version, you have amazing filters. And then with LinkedIn Sales Navigator, it just gives you an absurd amount of power with finding the exact people that you want to target. So have a bit of a play with the filters on LinkedIn, and you'll be amazed with what kind of people you can generate lists of, and literally start conversations. Which brings me on to prospecting. So starting conversations, reaching out, talking to people, finding that gold, generating those calls, and that lead to sales. So what is prospecting? Prospecting is basically just the art of taking a stranger on LinkedIn, a prospect, and all the way through to becoming a lead or a call or a booked appointment in your calendar. Now, it would be nice if you just sent a prospect a message and they instantly booked a call. But really, there's this whole process in between. So first, we need to connect with our prospects on LinkedIn. We need to get engagement from our prospects on LinkedIn, and then we need to get touch points in. We need to nurture. These contacts to over the course of a few weeks potentially, in order to get them onto a call, get interest in what we have to offer, and get them wanting to talk to us. So once we're on a phone call, most people are quite good. They know their service, they know their product, they know how to sell. But what we want to do is get that initial point of contact and interest for people to want to get in contact with us. So in the connection message, I'm going to be going over this sort of the messages pretty briefly here, because there's once again a lot of great blog articles on the site that go into this in a bit more detail. But basically, you have 300 characters to send a short request aimed to demonstrate your value without coming across too spammy or salesy. So you've probably all seen the messages on LinkedIn, and they do, some of them are pretty bad, and they really just have no cut through. But the important thing here is that you need to make sure you connect to enough people in order to find that small percentage that are ready to buy. The rest then can become part of your network, and they'll have more visibility with you over time. So when they are ready to buy, you're the one who's going to be front of mind. Remember that thousands of connections means nothing if you do nothing with them, which is why the engagement part is so important. So for those who connect, we then send a series of short messages spaced out over the course of the month, aimed to drive interest in what we do, understand the person's problem, and ultimately, have a conversation. So we've got to keep these messages short and conversational. We're not going to be sending people sales essays and we want to try and finish with a yes and no question. It's important we try and make it as easy as possible for them to want to engage with us. Because once we get that first small bit of engagement, that snowballs. So the most important thing to remember here is no giant essays, and don't propose on the first date. Meaning, don't expect everything just from the first message. Try and warm up your prospects first to the idea of getting on a call with you. And then finally, once you get engagement, it's not like a conversation that you'd have at a networking event where it might be over in 5 minutes and you organize a call the next week. Conversations can take days, weeks, even months. And if you stop following up and you let that conversation die, then there's a lot of money that's going to be left on the table by just not following up people. People are not active on their LinkedIn profiles like they are with their emails. Plus, you are at the bottom of their priority list. So it's really important to just have a means of following up, even if it takes a few weeks, just politely saying, hey, just wanted to check in, you're still interested to chat, once you've got that engagement and you've got that buy-in. Like I said, remember, you are not the prospect's priority and you're very easy to forget about. And it's so important to get these touch points in, because that's where everyone gives up, because it's too hard to manage. And if you get all this right, then obviously you get the call. You get the sales call, you can tell them about your service, and you can start making some serious money. But you're probably thinking, oh, this is so much work. How do I do all this? I've got my own job to do as well. But just remember, you only need to be doing these 3 things on LinkedIn every day. Growing your network, engaging your network, and generating and closing sales calls. Because remember, if you're not constantly feeding that pipeline, for every day that you don't grow your network, you don't do this process to fill fill that funnel, fill that pipeline, that's one more day it's going to be before you get your next client. So you're probably thinking, oh, but that's still a lot of heavy lifting. And you're right, this is a lot of work, a lot of time needs to be spent on the platform. So that's why success all depends on process, systems, and consistency. Once you have a system that works, it's essential to build a repeatable process around it. And it's only once you have a repeatable process that you know works that you can start delegating and automating all the components that don't require input. And once you have a system that you know works, you can then replicate it and scale it up. So the good thing about this is that the profile and people are generally one-off tasks. You write your profile, you get your positioning right, and then you find the exact people that resonate with you, and build highly targeted lists and filters. But the prospecting part is something that needs to be taken action on every single day, and it takes the most amount of time. So it's really important to have a solid process around not just knowing what to do each day, but how to manage where everyone's up to throughout that prospecting journey in order to generate high quality leads. So you really want to use processes, automations, and or virtual assistants to help with sending out the connection requests and starting conversations. And you need a CRM basically to manage all of the conversations and contacts that have engaged, and so you know where everyone's up to and who needs to be followed up with next. Because if you try and do it off the bat each day, and try and just guess and work it out as you go, you're going to get into a big mess. You're going to lose track of everything. It's going to take twice as much work, and you're not going to get the results. So the really good thing about this is that connection and engagement is a very automatable task. It's very robotic. So long as you get the people correct, and you know that the people that you're reaching out to are the right people, then connecting and getting a conversation started is something that's very automatable. Where most people struggle is this nurturing and the touch points. And this is where I saw a lot of my clients in the beginning struggling with, because what I thought was a natural process to have a conversation and to follow people up and get that onto a call actually wasn't for a lot of my clients. So I've built this really solid system around nurturing, and it really helps you come in each day to understand, all right, this person has replied, how have they replied? And the truth is that once you ask the right questions, people really only reply in a handful of different ways. And when you know what those handful of different ways are, it really helps you guide the conversation along this line and gets to the call without diverting too much and getting way off track and requiring more effort to pull it back in if you even can. So remember, so long as you're taking action on these 3 activities, you're going to have success. Grow your network, engage with your network, and generate and close sales calls. So what are your options here? Obviously, you can do it yourself. Commit the time to work it out on your own, build your own processes, work out the best tools to use, how to use them, hire and train a virtual assistant to do the heavy lifting, and of course risk having your profile restricted or classed as a spammer from sending the wrong messages, too many messages, and not managing all the back end stuff. Or of course you can work with us and do what I like to call paying for speed. We provide a lot of great free resources on our website, but for people who understand the value in getting results quickly, we offer what we call, like I said, paying for speed. So by working with us, you get expert guidance from someone who has done this day in, day out. You have your own lead generating machine set up in just 2 to 4 weeks, and you can join a community of like-minded professionals and get amazing results like our clients. So Matt started working with me when he just started his business, and he was having trouble making any progress, going to networking events. And finally, working with me, he got a process that was able to be automated and work in the background. Now he says he gets 70% of his sales still from LinkedIn, and he just had his first 47K month and still growing fast. Trent was able to quit his job and now uses LinkedIn, does the same thing for his clients in financial advisory, bookkeepers, accountants, and helps them grow their businesses using LinkedIn as well. George's advisory was having trouble getting any progress using cold email outreach, trying to get any engagement. And he had great success reaching out to people and getting people to a live event, which obviously provided a really great return. Florian got 30 plus high value software demos out in the first month for his niche software company. And this software, it's 3K minimum up to 6K. So really high value stuff and really great result. So yeah, just have a look at the website. We have no shortage of different niches, consultants, advisors, coaches, software developers, SaaS, software as a service. Yeah, we've done a lot and we really, really focus on providing a great service for our clients. So our client journey looks a little bit like the process that we've just gone over in this, the 4 Ps. So we, first of all, in the first 2 weeks, we spend a lot of time around the profile and market position and finding the right people. Because finding the right people really also works hand in hand with how we write the profile. Because it all comes down to the who. So we spend the first 1 to 2 weeks really spending a lot of time on getting this right, finding the exact people we want to target, and then making sure our profile is set up in a way to resonate with that market. Then in the second 2 to 4 weeks, we spend time helping you get your system set up, something that helps you prospect, and connect, engage, get your nurturing touch points in. Something I see so many other marketers struggle with is the nurturing and touch points, because they feel like it's a process that can't be systemized. It's unnatural. But when you start to look at how conversations actually go on LinkedIn, there's really only so many branches that they can take. And if you know this, then you can build a process around it and make sure they guide towards getting on a call. And all this is managed through our custom CRM. And we had to build our own thing to manage this because we knew that there was very specific requirements to get this right. And then finally, you got top level sales training and advice how to get the best out of closing leads with the calls that you get. Because we know that it doesn't matter how many calls or how many leads you get. If you can't close them, then they're absolutely useless. And behind all this, you have, an expert community of advisors that are ready to help and give you advice when you need it. And on top of that, a community of other professional, like-minded entrepreneurs, business owners, coaches ready to provide advice and share their journey and help you along with yours. So our goal is to get you set up and generating quality leads in 4 weeks. It's a big ask, but that's our aim. We really focus more on what we take out of our service in order to make sure that we only have the key things that matter to get you results fast. And best of all, it is risk-free. We're really focused on win-win situations here. So we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're unhappy for any reason, we'll give you your money back. We put a lot of work into making sure that you get results fast, and we want you to see the value in that. If you're still interested, you can see the value of having your own sales system built with LinkedIn that fills your calendar with leads, then I'd like to offer you a 45 LinkedIn lead generation strategy session. And this is where, this is the same thing we offer to our clients around profile, positioning, and people. So on 45 minutes, we're going to be going through a call, what your core offering is, who is it for, and what kind of positioning can you take on LinkedIn, and what kind of potential do you have to generate consistent quality leads. A lot of value, and like I said, this is what we do as the first part of the process with our clients, and I'd 100% like to offer it to you for free. You can then take it away, do whatever you want with it, do it yourself, or of course, you can work with us, which I would love as well, but no obligation either way. Would just love to share this with you and help you get started on your journey. So this is for people in, as I said, B2B, consultants, coaches, advisors, people in SaaS, speakers, agencies, advisors, consultancies. As long as you're serving other businesses, this is for you. And of course, people who are in business already, that you have a product or a service that you know adds value. And people who want to really help others with their services. It's not about making money, or not just all about making money, it's about actually trying to add value and help others. And understand that they need some skin in the game. We've got our money back guarantee to make sure we work with the right people. And that means that, we need you to have some skin in the game too. You need to understand that this isn't just you give us money and we do all the work for you. This is helping you set up a lead generation system that's very high ROI. So you don't have to consistently pay agencies, consistent high overheads to get the same result. Remember, it's risk-free. We're looking for win-win situations, go-getters, people really looking to grow their businesses and get moving fast. We want fast results for our clients. So if you're interested in having a chat, I'd be more than happy to have a chat. I'm not interested in wasting your time. We value our time, and of course we value yours. And so if it's not a good fit, we'll be 100% upfront on the call. So all you need to do is click the button below to apply, and I look forward to talking with you soon.